Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday, October 11th. Friday, October 11th. We made it to halfway through October, right? We're almost there. We're almost to the ho-ho-ho season. We're almost to the jolly St. Nick season. We're almost to the snow season. What are you guys doing? You have a good training? It's my birthday weekend. I won't be shy about telling you that. So I'll be 57 this weekend. Glad for every day that passes. So, welcome to Massive Iron Live, the longest running podcast Q&A thing in the history of the universe, and that's my claim. I appreciate each and every one of you that support my channel. I'm all about lifting and simplifying things and freeing you guys to enjoy your exercise and not live in bondage to all of this chaos that is out there in the lifting world. It's not complicated. It's not overly anything you need to obsess about. Have fun, lift heavy, be smart, etc., etc. Now, before I get into things, a couple of housekeeping notes. If your question doesn't go through, try shortening it or rephrasing it. Sometimes long questions don't go through on the YouTube. And sometimes you will put in a naughty word or a word that YouTube doesn't like for whatever reason. Who knows? It's YouTube, right? It's a lot smarter than you or I. If it doesn't go through, if your comment doesn't go through, just try rewording it or shortening it. If that doesn't work, you can always head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM. And you can post your questions. I answer any question that is posted over on Instagram. Now, before we get started, I have a sale that I'm doing for my birthday, and I want to make you guys aware of. I'm not going to eat much of your time, but if you go over to my website, Super Living Today, and you search custom, 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 or you go into the services tab, you can see custom. I have a custom workout flash sale that I'll be doing until midnight on October 13th. That is my birthday. You can get a custom workout for only $39. $39. That's what you get it for. $39. So I'd love to spend my birthday weekend building you guys a custom workout. So this will run through October 13th at midnight. If you're not sure, if you can't find it on my website, superlivingtoday.com, just DM me on Instagram or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Now, a couple more things. Follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'd love to connect with you. And if you need coaching, head over to superlivingtoday.com and check out the coaching tab. I was a 2023 Online Coach of the Year. I didn't even know I was in the running for it, but I'm proud to say I was, and I appreciate it, each and every one of you that has put enough confidence in me to allow me to help. This is going to be my busy time of the year. I stay booked pretty much all year round, but come from Black Friday through really mid-January, that's when everybody starts to kind of hustle and sign up for coaching. So don't miss out. I don't have all the spots in the world. So if you are interested, it is only $89.40 after the first month. All right, let's get into things. Let's remove the stuff and get on to the snazziness. My training's going good. And before we dive into things, I've been on a pretty good roll lately. I did bench. For those of you guys that don't follow me on Instagram, I also had a short that I uploaded, a couple of shorts that I uploaded here on this box called YouTube, where I put my bench press sets. I did 340 for 4. I stopped at 4. I think I could have got 5. It was I'm pretty confident I could have gotten 5, but I hadn't benched really above 315 more than once in the last 10 years. So I just wanted to give my body a little bit of a feeler, you know what I'm saying? Then I did 340 by 4. I'm really happy with it. And I went over and I put on the bench press slingshot, the Mark Bell red bench press slingshot for the first time in a long time, like literally 8 years. And I just did it for fun. And I ended up getting like 315 for 12. It's funny the comments you get on YouTube, right? Somebody called me a cheater. You cheater! You're using cheat reps in that rubber band thing. Like, slow down there, Charlie Brown. I just posted a video without it a second ago. And I also was able to do a third set of 275 for lunch. So, age 57 coming up, we're doing all right. You know what I'm saying? We're doing okay. Let's get into things. Enough chatter. Let's get into things. Big Martin, a client of mine from the UK, Bristol. Happy Friday, Team Massive. Let's all have a glorious weekend of gains, all kinds of gloriousness. By the way, this is being run over on X, formerly known as the platform named Twitter, and on my Facebook page and on LinkedIn for you smarty pants. Big Joe B, what's going on? Good morning, Joe B, a client of mine. Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne? Good morning, Team Massive. Happy early birthday, Coach. Thank you so much. You're the first one to officially wish me happy birthday, so I appreciate it. Is it expected to see a slight jump in body weight after one starts creatine? Yeah, it's not unusual. One thing I always want to remind you guys is that when you see a jump in body weight, it is a good jump. It's not fat. Sometimes we see that scale do a little bit of a, an what do they call it? Exclamation. Is that how you would say it? Escalate up. So that's intramuscular weight. That's water weight inside the muscles. That's going to make the muscles look fuller, etc. So always remember that the creatine water weight is a good water weight, a positive water weight. And yes, it's not unusual. Big Joe B, can you isolate bottom chest pec, or does it just grow naturally? That's a very good question. We've gone through many phases in the history of muscle building. You had the 70s and 80s when we talked about regional hypertrophy. Regional hypertrophy means targeting specific areas of the bicepticon, the chest, etc. So in that era, even probably through some of the mid 90s, we believed you could. And then, with the onset of the internet, it became almost a joke. Ha, ha, ha. You can't target a specific area of a muscle. Ha, ha, ha. That's how it went, right? Everybody would laugh at it. But a couple of years ago, they actually did a study that showed promising information that regional hypertrophy was likely a thing. So scientifically, the jury is still out. It does make sense because the body is very adept at adapting to specific movement patterns, right? So what I would say is it makes a lot of sense to target a muscle group with a variety, a mix of exercises. So there's no harm in doing, say, a slight decline and a slight incline press if you want to, right? So what's the downside? There is no downside. What's the upside? That the bros were right all along. What is my gut instinct? My gut instinct is this: regional hypertrophy or targeting a specific area of a muscle is probably a real thing, right? Because you have a lot of muscle tissue wherever you're looking at, whatever specific muscle you're looking at. And it's very likely that the stress you feel, like when I press up, I can feel it up here. There's tension down here, but not as much as if I press down there. So my gut instinct is that's a real thing. I don't want you to over obsess about it. I want you to use a balanced program. And this is one reason in the massive iron world where we talk about hitting a muscle group with a quality selection of exercises. Sometimes we overthink things, right? Like a triceps, I want to hit this head and this head and this head, and I want to have an exercise for this, that, and the other thing. And we forget that they are compound movements. They're not just targeting one head like an incline isn't just targeting the upper pecs, it's targeting the mid pecs. So we want a good selection of exercises. Does that make sense? Is it possible that some body parts will maintain while other body parts excel? Anything's possible. But if you are practicing progressive overload and you are training right and you're not maximally peaked out with muscle mass, you're going to be gaining something. Don't tether perception to numbers, right? Numbers are an indicator, but the amount of mass you gain isn't linearly attached to the progression rate, right? It's not like my rate of gains rides progressively parallel to my rate of strength gains. We focus on hard training over the long run. That is the big process, the big picture. And you're going to have periods where let me give you an example. You're going to have periods where one muscle group is really going to be worked harder than another for varying reasons. It starts out weaker relatively, involved in a compound movement pattern, and then it's going to get up to speed, right? And then maybe a different area gets a little bit more stress. Let me explain something. So when it comes to bench pressing or overhead pressing, when you are new to pressing, a rite of passage is that you're going to experience a lot of front delt stress, pain, etc. It can be front delt pain and stress, soreness can be pretty darn brutal. And when you're starting out, when you're benching, a lot of benchers notice, oh, my front delts are the most sore of all. When you're overhead pressing, maybe my front delts are most sore of all, and they get in their head that the chest or the triceps or the side delts aren't being worked. And they are being worked because it is a compound movement. But because maybe your front delts are weakest of all, in that movement pattern, they're going to be the ones that get hit the hardest, maybe the first, 3-4 months. That doesn't mean, again, your chest isn't getting hit hard and your triceps aren't. When I say your front delts are getting hit hardest, it could be a slight degree, right? So don't panic. Your front delts are going to get up to speed, and then all of a sudden you start to notice your chest getting sore and your triceps getting sore. So there's going to be different seasons for every lift. That's why we put together a big picture, a big quality selection of exercises that aren't the same movement pattern necessarily. That's going to help us build a well-rounded shotgun approach to hypertrophy. And if you want science, that's the legitimate science. That's common sense. All right, Joe B. Is it possible that we got that already? Woodulous tips on staying sexy at 57. You're asking the wrong feller, right? I don't know about that. You're asking the wrong dude, the wrong. I don't know. The only thing I know is I'm happy to be breathing. Outside of that, hey, I will say lifting. Lifting is so damn important in all of this equation. And I feel really fortunate from an early age that I have attached to lifting, that I took up a love of lifting. I feel lucky. I feel fortunate. You look back at your life's decisions, and we were discussing science in college a little bit on Team Massive. If you haven't joined my Discord channel, you can join my Discord channel. Check out the link below in one of the previous videos. But I went off to school for astrophysics. I had a really high score on my SAT and ACT for math and science, and I was fortunate enough to have many doors open where I could have gone to school. Cornell University accepted me. New Mexico Tech is where I ended up going, one of the top schools for astrophysics, and a couple others that I don't really recall offhand. But I made the decision to go to New Mexico. And in that decision, seemingly random. And I don't know, it was at the time. They had a small gym, and the English professor was a bodybuilder, and the gym wasn't crowded. And I had an opportunity to learn and train and spend time with bodybuilding magazines. And everything just fell into place. And that's the crazy thing about life. You just never know the direction that things are going to go in. I am super, super fortunate. I feel super fortunate that I fell in love with the iron, because it has been just a wonderful time the last 40 years. I never get tired of it. It's something I always look forward to. And it's treated me good. You know, my body is good. My body is strong. I don't know about being sexy, but I sure do love feeling strong. Big Joe B, plans for your birthday weekend? Not a lot, man. I just a reminder, I have the flash sale. If you want a custom workout, it's only $39. Hit me up. I would love to do that for you. Birthday plans. I live in a smaller town of about 12,000 people, and about 20 minutes away, they're having a festival. And the exciting thing for me is I'm going to go try to find some cheap elk antler bones or elk antlers for my dogs, because there's a vendor there that comes every year that usually has them reasonably priced. So that's my excitement. Not really doing much of anything other than that. I've had a rough 3 weeks car wise. When the first hurricane came in, we had some pretty bad storms up here in Ohio. And long story short, they're building a house next to my house, and they left all the building materials outside, and a lot of them flew in and smashed the side of my car, and did a little bit of damage, you know. And then the next weekend, a bunch of drunk kids at prom went off into the neighborhoods and broke into my car and stole my trainerized gym bag, which I got for being coach of the year. They stole my new Versa grips. They stole my new Beats headphones. They stole my new knee wraps. So I don't get that stuff back, you know. And with the deductible on my house, I'm out a little bit of money on my car and on my, you know, on my car, and you know, having to paint it, and on my gym stuff. So I'm just trying to work this weekend to make some of that money back. You know, being a small business, that's kind of what we have to do. All right, what are we doing? Where are we at? Is it possible to get stronger without gaining much muscle? I hate questions like this. No offense, Sean. No, I'm not coming at you, Joe. No dogs down here. No, guys, come on. Guys, please. I got the dogs running down here, and they're all making noise upstairs. Hold on a second, Joe. We got some visitors. The dogs are going crazy up there.
There's too many walkers.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, we got a visitor. I'll explain what I was saying, Joe. This is Bubba Sausage. Hey, Bubba, how you doing? You're in like 4K. No, Bubba, I'm not having you come up here. This is Chichi Rodriguez. This is Chichi Morongo. How's it going, buddy? Don't get too excited there. Al. Hold on, Joe. We're going to have to wait 5 minutes for the dog to... Snoopy, get out of there, please. I don't want you peeing on my jersey. Snoopy sometimes wants to sit on my jersey.
Oh, little Bluey. Oh, sorry, Bubba.
There's Bluey, Bluey Skidooey, and somebody's jumping on my leg.
Hey,
Thank you, Blue.
I'm Blue.
Okay.
I'm big old Snoopy. Snoopy. Oh my God, they're so fat. Ugh.
Here's Snoopy, the big boy. Come on, guys. There's big old Snoopy. All right.
Oh, come on, boys. Let's go.
Thank you guys for visiting. Okay, Joe. Is it possible to get stronger without gaining much muscle? So I said I hate that question. And Joe, I'm not coming to ask you for asking them. There's no dumb questions. Let me explain what I mean. Okay. Is it possible to get stronger without gaining much muscle by not being in a proper surplus? Uh, I mean, you can get stronger without gaining as much muscle mass, but it's limited, right? I hate theoretical questions like this. Can you get bigger without getting stronger? Can you get stronger without getting bigger? We're in the gym to get bigger and stronger. That's when I say hate, that's why I kind of hate the nature of the question. But yes, you can gain strength, and it's not going to be equal to your muscle mass. So when you first start, you can have your central nervous system can get up to speed, and you can build strength, you know, fast at a faster rate than you might be building muscle. When you start a new lift, there might be a central nervous system. You know, from a central nervous system standpoint, you might be acclimating to the lift, and you might see a more rapid increase in strength as you learn technique, as your central nervous system becomes more efficient with a lift. Does that make sense? So if you never squatted before, let's say you never squatted, you never deadlifted, you were just kind of in a more bodybuilding type of world. What you might experience if you jumped into squats or deadlifts is you're going to get used to it from a technical standpoint. So your proficiency will go up. You're going to get used to it from a central nervous system standpoint. Like your central nervous system will get more acclimated to the movement pattern. So you can see an increase in strength initially in that type of lift without necessarily an equatable degree of muscle mass. You're always going to build muscle mass as you put stress on the body, but sometimes your strength is going to increase more rapidly than your muscle mass. Does that make sense? And you know, you could introduce a new lift, and that could be the case. It really depends. But in the long run, there are no really strong lifters that don't have a lot of muscle mass. That's a nonsense myth. It's a nonsense fantasy concept that only exists on the internet. Why is so-and-so so incredibly small and strong? Well, they're not small. There was some research a couple of years ago that showed that the strongest power lifters, almost to a person, were the biggest power lifters muscle wise. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This was a pretty solid and respectable scientific study. Now, I'm not somebody that likes to pull out one scientific study out of my ass and just shove it in your guy's face. But when we're looking at data, right, and you all of a sudden look at all the data and you say the strongest power lifters are also almost almost always the biggest power lifters. That's not a coincidence, right? That lines up with common sense. So yes, there can be periods where you're going to gain strength and not always a perceivable or equatable level of muscle mass. But mass will always be the main facilitator for future strength. Some people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. It is the scientific truth. The biggest power lifters are almost always the strongest power lifters. In almost every case, they have more mass. This doesn't mean they, excuse me, dog hair. This doesn't mean you have to train like a bodybuilder. This doesn't mean they train like a bodybuilder, right? Some people misinterpret these results, but size will facilitate strength. That's the golden rule. So when we are looking at beginners and they're like, I'm going to train for size, I'm going to train for strength, I just want to train for strength, I don't want to train for size. Look, if you're somebody that wants to train for strength and thinks you don't want to train for size, you got to get yourself on track, because there is no ultimate strength without ultimate size. They are the same process, right? So if somebody is going to, Joe's question says, are they going to waste growth potential if they're not in a proper stimulus? No. Your natural potential is going to remain your natural potential to a reasonable age, right? I can't say it's going to remain there when you're 65 or 70, but your natural potential physiologically, you're not going to change your DNA. You're not going to change your inherent, potential from birth. We have a similar degree of we have human physiology, right? Now, I might have different limb lengths than you, and you might have different leverages than me, and I might have a different injury history than you, but we have basically the same DNA, right? Some of us have issues. There's DNA variations, eye colors, and whatever. But when it comes to muscle tissue and how the human physiology works and how it responds to stimulus, we're all pretty much the same, given a little bit of variance. So we all have a big potential to put on muscle mass. So you don't waste that potential, right? If you're training and you're not pushing for progressive overload, you're not wasting your potential. If you're getting stronger, but you're not eating in a big surplus and not encouraging muscle mass, you're not wasting that potential. It's not a formula. Like if I add strength as much as I can without adding any muscle, then that muscle mass gets wasted because I don't have as much strength to go. That's kind of wrong thinking. Does that make sense? That's bad thinking. That's trying to turn things into a dumbed down formula. Like I brought my bench press up to 250 pounds without gaining any muscle mass. Well, you probably did gain some muscle mass, right? But did I waste it? Now I don't have far to go on my bench press anymore. And I I'm not near my natural potential. Did I waste it? No, it doesn't work like that. It's not a math formula, right? The body is not like thinking, okay, you bench 250, but you haven't been focused on hypertrophy as much as, or diet as much as you should. I'm not going to give you any more. No, the body has the potential to grow the same way for person A and person B, right? Did you waste that potential? No, it's always going to be there. You're always going to have your normal, reasonable, natural potential, if that makes sense. And we have to get out of the boat where we try to think that we've wasted things or that strength without maximum mass is wasted. You just got to get on the hard training plan. You got to get on the bulking plan. And there's a whole lot of holes in what you've been doing. And you just need to start filling those holes, and you're going to gain muscle mass. You're going to be fine. I hope I didn't wander around too much on that one. Happy birthday, big, hairy, ugly dude. In your opinion, would most people benefit from a personal trainer or a dietitian? Good question. And I have to unpack this one a little bit. So we have to put a caveat. This is probably going to offend somebody, but I'm being real with you guys, as real as I can, because I love you, I care about you, and I want your best results. There are a lot of shitty personal trainers and dietitians. There are. I don't care if that offends anybody. There are a lot of shitty dietitians. I'm not pulling this out of my backside. I'm being real with you guys, because in my years of coaching, I've had some people that were trying to lose fat that some people are always going to try to find a way around the mountain. The mountain is the hard part. The mountain is the thing you need to do. The mountain is the hard thing. Okay? And some people don't want to hear about reducing calories. And they think, maybe if I just eat meat and keto and I can eat as much as I want, I'm going to lose fat. I'm going to go to a dietitian. And you're going to meet dietitians out there that have diets that are like a religion, right? Like their cult diet. Over the years, I've had maybe 2 or 3 clients that have went off and talked to a dietitian because they didn't want to do the hard stuff. They didn't want to address their eating disorders, their dysfunctional eating, their addiction to fast food, processed food, their addiction to not fucking planning, right? Excuse my language. But if you're lazy and you don't want to plan, I don't care. It's your life. Do whatever you want. Frolic in the woods, eat your bag of Doritos, and be a lazy son of a bitch, right? I don't judge. You be you. But you know what? The key to success, one of the big keys to success is planning, no matter what you're doing. Planning your day, planning your meals, building a baseline so you can something to return to when you stray, a baseline of success, right? I'm rambling on here a little bit, but I've had a couple clients over the years that didn't want to do that stuff. They just want a magic pill or a magic diet or a magic thing that they could lose weight and return back to their normal eating of flubbery, right? Which is bullshit. We know it's bullshit. Some people just want to go off and do a diet and eat restricted for 3 months and then come back and eat like a piggy pig. That's fine. You be you. But I've had some people go off to a dietitian and the dietitian would give them the craziest advice. I'm not condemning all dietitians. I think most dietitians are decent. I think most trainers mean well. But we have to understand there are a lot of people out there that don't have as much experience as other people. There are some people with biases or some people that treat workouts like a religion or diets like a religion. I've had some people tell my clients, you need to just eat more. I've had a dietitian tell a 460-pound man to eat 3,700 calories a day because based on their body weight, they could lose weight at that level. Like, are you fucking nuts? You're telling an obese man to eat 3,700 calories a day, right? So, excuse my language, but there are dietitians out there like that. There are trainers out there like that. I'm going to tell you something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You can tell the quality of a dietitian or the quality of a trainer or a quality of a coach if you are working with someone and this trainer, this dietitian, this coach undermines what that coach has you doing. If another coach, if you're with another coach and coach has you doing a specific workout and a specific macro plan, and you come to me and you say, what do you think of this? I am not going to undermine what that coach is doing with you. Okay? I don't know. I'm not in the know. I don't have all the information. Furthermore, the second I break that trust between you and that coach, the second I criticize things without having all the information and be a fitness or nutrition asshole and break the trust between you and that coach, you're done. You're not going to get, it's very unlikely you're going to get good results. Because trust in the method is important, even if the method is only 90% or 85%. Does that make sense? So I'm going to say this. If you have a nutritionist or a dietitian or a coach or a trainer that criticizes somebody else's approach, like if you're working with me and you go to a nutritionist or a dietitian and they criticize my methods, they are a bad dietitian or nutritionist, because the best method for you is going to be founded on trust. It might not be a perfect method, but the moment you stop believing in the method, you're lost. There's no hope. So there are people out there, dietitians and trainers and nutritionists and coaches out there that'll do that stuff, and they're toilet bowl level. They are. They're disgusting. You don't do that. If you're playing a sport and your wrestling coach is teaching you how to wrestle and some other coach is trying to undermine the techniques and you stop believing in the techniques, where are you at? Right? You're on an island all by yourself. So back to the question, because we're rambling a little bit. Most people would benefit from a good coach. Okay. Not a trainer that gives you the workout of the day, because I'm not in that world. I'm not criticizing general conditioning. I'm not criticizing that. Some people want to go to the gym. Thank you, Neo, and thank you, Mary Perry, for the donations on my birthday. Some people want to go to the gym and mix things up and do fitnessy stuff and conditioning stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not muscle building inherently. There's nothing wrong with it. Most people would benefit from a good coach. I had a good coach. I had a good coach when I was in college, indirectly, who equipped me to equip you guys. What a wonderful thing. And when I got serious about running, I took on two of the best running coaches in the world. Not for ego reasons, but I wanted to align myself with experience, not just technical knowledge, right? Not just I read a book or I got a degree. I think everybody that's serious should have a coach. I do. All the big IFBB guys have coaches. Most of them do. It's good to have somebody above you. It's good to have some accountability. It's good to have some guidance. If you get to if you get to the point where you feel like you're above that, or your form is perfect. Thank you, Martin, for the donation. There are a lot of guys that think their squat form is perfect and their deadlift form is perfect, and it's not. And I don't go out of my way to tell them. I would love to help them. I run a Discord team, a community, and you know how many form checks I get per week? I had 4 or 5 this week out of 230 people. Now, a lot of those are my clients, granted, and they're posting form checks and training. But those of you on Team Massive that aren't using the form checks, you have at your disposal someone that has seen, I have seen probably close to 20,000 form videos in the last 5 years. Just crazy. I see at least 100 form videos a day. That's not exaggeration. That's not exaggeration. I've already seen 20 this morning on my clients and 4 on Team Massive. I'll see 100 before the day is done. 100 times. I work 5 days a week now, so we'll go 200 days. 200 days times 100, right? You do the math. I've seen over 100,000 form videos. Something like that. I don't know. You do the math. What's 200 days times 100? Right? That's 20,000 a year. If anybody doubts that, when I won the Trainerize Coach of the Year, they said I had over 90,000 text messages to my clients the previous year. The point is, like, I've seen so many videos. I'm experienced at looking. Am I the best form coach in the world? No, I'm not going to pull that card. That's nonsense, right? I don't need to position myself as the best. I'm experienced. I get a lot of people on Team Massive that don't even reach out for form checks. I'm not being critical. I love every one of them. I want to help every one of them. But sometimes I wonder, hey, your lat pull down might suck balls. Do you want help a little bit? Post it up. Because, there's a lot of these smaller lifts that people haven't mastered, but you want a good coach. I think everybody wants a good coach. And what I have found out as a coach is that even some of the biggest and strongest lifters, when they come to me, many of them aren't doing half their lifts. Half their lifts, they could be getting more out of them. See the cable rows and lat pull downs and pull ups and a little bit of refinement, a little bit of fine tuning. I'm not just saying this so I can, bring in coaching clients. I've been full with coaching clients. Basically, I've had the same number of coaching clients without over pimping it out for the last 5 to 6 years. I'm very fortunate that way because I've been on YouTube for a very long time and I have a very strong and healthy business. Thank goodness, man. I'm so thankful for that. So I'm not just telling you guys this because I'm trying to get coaching clients. Go get anybody. But I think it's worth the money. Before you spend money on extraneous supplements and SARMs and testosterone and all that monkey shit, spend it on a good coach. Big Joe B. Last night, I watched a Mitch Hooper Canadian power lifter. I call Canada Canada sometimes. His number one leg builder out of his top 5 was leg press. That could be. There's such a wide variety of leg press machines. Number one, we need to establish that. There are some really awful leg presses that I don't like. Some that beat up the lower back, some that don't have a good leverage position, and some that are absolutely wonderful. So don't get hung up on somebody saying their number one leg builder is X, Y, or Z. Always look at, I'm not downplaying that. He has a leg press that he likes and he uses it. Excellent. I'm all for that. I am the guy in the corner saying, don't just squat. Do a lot of exercises for quads. But don't just follow Mitch Hooper and do a leg press when it beats up your lower back or you don't feel good leverages at the leg press at your gym, or the leg press at your gym is just ganky. Use a good quality grouping of exercises that work for you. The worst thing you can do is just lockstep behind somebody, some big name. Mitch Hooper says leg press, I must leg press. That's fine. Try it out. But don't go in the corner and sulk and get depressed if you don't like the leg press at your machine and be like, oh, gains are lost. I can't leg press like Mitch Hooper. I'm not saying you're doing that, Joe, but really, we have to free ourselves from that, if that makes sense. Big Max, best exercises for lateral leg growth. Now we're getting complicated. The best selection for as far as leg growth in general is to find a quality grouping of exercises that work for you, Max. Ones that have a good opportunity for progressive overload, that treat your body good, that you feel you get a lot of value out of. That's always going to be the answer. I can't create the best exercises for you. I don't know your equipment, your injury history, but we want to have a quality selection, a quality grouping of exercises. Big Joe B, now we're talking fulking. We're getting Fulkatronic. We're getting I can say Funkatronic, Funkalicious. We're getting Fulkalicious. It's 3 pounds a month bulk, a Fulk. It's right at the top edge. You really don't want to go above 3 pounds. 3 pounds is like when you hit that red line on your engine. You want to back it down a little bit. You're just pushing it right to the edge. I say the sweet spot is 2.25 to 2.5. In that range, we're not trying to create a rule, but if you're running in that range, you're probably in a pretty good place. Big Ernie Peterson. How's it going, Ernie? Thanks for tuning in. Martin says, Joe is asking the real questions. Shelly Turner, a client of mine from all the way out on the West Coast, where they probably just woke up an hour ago. Big Stein, how's it going, Stein? And Big Paul from New Mexico. What's going on? If time isn't a problem, then you're a lucky son of a gun, right? Is it okay to add in a non-programmed finisher? Yeah, it absolutely is. I know there's some fitness knuckleheads out there that said finishers don't have value. Go sit in the corner, Paul Carter. Go sit in the corner, Paul Carter. Or whatever the crap he said. I'm so over Paul Carter right now. So finishers, hard work always has value. So if you have a little bit of extra soup in the bowl at the end of the day, right? A little bit of extra energy in the mix, and you want to do a finisher, do it. I don't program finishers. If I have some energy left on that day and I want to do a run the stack on a Dumbbell curl, I do it. If I want to do 50 reps on dumbbell laterals, I do it. Don't be shy about doing that as long as you're not going to get hurt. There's always value in hard work. Is it going to be a game changer? Nah. But always, any knucklehead out there, like Pauline Cartina, who says that like finishers don't have value or whatever he said. I can't remember what Paulina said. That's nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. Hard training and progressive overload is everything. And if you're going to put extra stress on the muscle at the end of the workout, is it going to be game changer? Probably not. Is it going to have some minor inherent value? Absolutely. Is it going to be fun? Heck yes. I love finishers. It's not suck the life out of training like these people that overanalyze and, calculating angles, and they suck the life and the art and the soul out of training. And you know what? People like this are so full of shit. I've known some of these people for a long time. I've known them. Like the person I'm talking about that, is like anti-finisher. I've interacted with this guy for a long time. I met him in person several times. Like I know how he used to train. Just him aside. When I see a lifter that trained a certain way to build their base, and now they created a new system, and which is fine. But you can't discount how you built your base. Just like everybody else, right? If time isn't a problem, is it okay to add in a non-program finisher? Yeah, absolutely. As long as you don't beat yourself up and you're safe. You were supposed to record a film about specialized bars. It was 2 years ago. Oops. Yeah. I put it to my to-do list. I will. I have a big, long to-do list that I keep of ideas. And sometimes I accumulate so many ideas that an idea like this will get buried. So I apologize. Big Harris, how's it going? Thanks for joining in. October is also the birthday month of my late father. He left us this year. Sorry to hear about that. And then I found Massive Iron. Blessed to be part of the family. I'm grateful that you found us. It's always a joy to have you on there. And I always appreciate your contributions. Massive Iron is a family. And for those of you guys that aren't a part of our Discord team or group, we are a family. We're a lifting family. We're each other's support. And I would highly encourage you to join us. Big Jonathan. I entered my bulk at 3,400 calories and did a quick 4-week cut. Where should I start my bulk at? I'd probably roll up to 3,000 for 5 days just to establish that your weight's not going up too much, or that it settles down or even goes slightly down after that point, and then I would start to adjust back up. I like to come in a little bit under and then kind of fly back up into it, if that makes sense. Have a great birthday weekend. Thank you. Please share pics of all the cakes and burgers. I will share anything that I actually eat. I'm hoping to get in 1 piece of cheesecake and a couple of beers. Barbell Beauty from Iowa, from Team Massive in Iowa. Thanks for tuning in. I know variety is important, but on some muscles, I give better effort when I do 5 to 6 sets of one exercise instead of 3 of 2. Is this the wrong approach? So, Harris, I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. Okay? There can be things that we can like to do. There's nothing wrong with liking to do something, but they aren't always the best. Sometimes I like to do periods where I do only bench press. I've been doing, for about 2 months, I did only 10 by 10s on bench press. And it's okay to do that. But I always know in the back of my mind that the best approach or a better approach is a variety of exercises. So sometimes I like to simplify. I like to have phases or periods where I simplify. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also know that the better approach is to have variety. So in this period, this phase, it's okay, but you have to eventually return to even 2 exercises on the low end. I don't think, as the meat and potatoes, the 90% of your training for major body parts, you should ever have less than 3 exercises. That's my opinion. Chest, back, rest. Delts, liggies, rest. Which rest day is best to hit the calves? I would do them on rest day 2 or rest day 1, because going into shoulders with sore calves is not going to be a bad thing. Doing calves after leg day and then you get some bonus rest, that sounds like a good thing. So I would do them on either of those days. Let me get a drink here. My mouth's a little bit dry. What are some good zero equipment exercises to strengthen the abs? Core strength, you can do shoulder tap planks. Regular planks bore me, but the shoulder tap you can count. So instead of like just staring into space, wishing time would pass, you can do 1 plank, 2, 3. You can actually count reps like up to 50. You can do a rolling plank where you roll on your side and you could count to 50. You can do like on the ground or on the bench, you can do like a version of a dragon flag, whatever you can do, to whatever degree. You can do hanging knee raises. You can do crunches to a minor degree, sit-ups to a minor degree. There's a lot of things you can do, Harris. So just hit me up on Team Massive. I could give you just a near endless amount of exercises, but I would do either the hanging knee raise, a hanging leg raise, kind of the variation of the dragon flag, crunches, sit-ups. I was just trying to think, when we're talking about no equipment, are we talking about like at home? Like I want to work out at home to work my abs and I don't have access to a gym. You could get an ab wheel. You could do slightly weighted sit-ups, slightly weighted crunches. You can do flutter kicks. Man, I'm sure everybody could name some extra stuff up in here, but those are a good starting point. What do we got? Dumbbell Romania deadlifts are better suited to back day or leg day. Depends on the structure of your program. But generally, because they tend to be more hamstring focused, I don't want them on back day because back day is going to tend to be crowded unless you are not doing deadlifts, regular deadlifts. And then you could start with dumbbell Romanians and then move on to your there'd be nothing wrong with that, and move on to your regular back work. Big Eric from Ericksville, Ohio. No, I'm just making that up. Do you know some myths about old school bodybuilders which aren't true? Old school bodybuilding, not bodybuilders. Myths about old school bodybuilding which aren't true. Well, we thought the regional hypertrophy or targeting a specific area of a muscle group was a joke, but we come to find out there's probably something to it. We used to believe, like the modern era kind of chuckles at bro splits, but they work. So hard work overcomes a lot of things. I think the biggest thing from the old school bodybuilding magazines is like the obsessive nature. Like I have to do everything perfectly. I have to sleep perfectly, eat perfectly, have everything perfect. And that's not true. You can be 80%, 100% of the time, and you're going to see a lot of amazing results. Big Jimmy Cooksworth from Cooksworth, Ohio. Good morning, Team Massive. Holy moly, it's Freitag already. It is. Where did the week go? Barbell Beauty. When life gives you lemons, go to the gym, lift weights, grow muscles, smash the lemons, and shut the bleep up. Right. You know, it's good to like sit in the corner for like 2 minutes and go, boo, you know, I had a bad day, and then get on with it. Get on with it. This life is waiting for you. Big Jimmy Cooksworth from Cooksworth, Ohio. How many times have you been asked for an autograph in public? Never. But because I've been on YouTube for a long time and been with Muscle and Strength and Tiger Fitness, a lot of people tend to recognize me. Nearly, I don't know. It's these days. It's like every weekend. If you go somewhere where there's a lot of people, somebody is always like, "You're on YouTube." Yep, that's me. That's it. But I've never been asked for the old autograph. All right, guys, we are about an hour in. Keep your questions coming. We got a lot to go, so I'm going to keep combing through your questions. And wow, we got a lot of questions. Excellent. We got a ton today. This could be a big one, so hang tough. Strap it on, strap it in, do your thing. Post your questions, get your drink. Nobody wants to work. Let's just talk lifting. All right. Let's skip forward a little bit, okay, because we're going to talk about farting dust for a second. Whoops. Steve is so old, he is farting dust. Actually, Johnny, when you get old, you have to check every fart at the door. You have to do a price check aisle 5, right? you have to safeguard the old exit. You have to put a warning sign over there if anybody's standing behind you. All right, where are we? Let's get on to things. Let me find where we are before the silliness. Big Matt, client of mine. I just want to say I'm thankful for your coaching. Thank you, Matt. I feel like my squats and squat form has gotten dialed in. Thank you. And it is a process, and I'm glad you're open to the process. It can be a frustrating process at times, but I'm glad you're open to the process. Your squat yesterday it had been kind of in a pattern. What I mean by that is it wasn't bad, it was consistent, but then all of a sudden your depth yesterday just looked so much better. Big Sam W. At roughly what body fat percentage would you suggest someone start a bulk? Well, generally, you want to look at where you want to cap a bulk, where you feel comfortable from a weight standpoint or a mirror standpoint. Number one, we don't want to be in the unhealthy zone as men, which is generally over 240 pounds. So 230 pounds is pretty much the top level. We generally don't want to probably go over 22, maybe tops 24% body fat. So really in that range, it all comes down to where you want to bounce back and forth between. You know, you don't want to have a bulk where you're like constantly, I hate myself, I feel fat, I hate myself, I feel fat, because then you're going to live in hell. So it has to be a comfortable zone or a comfortable range for you, if that makes sense. Big Michael, hey, Steve, hey, gals and guys, cheers from Berlin. Guten Tag. Did I say that right? Guten Ola from Ohio. All right, what do we got? Team Massive Iron is back with another live stream. Thank you for tuning in. I went to the gym to do legs in the middle of the hurricane. Well, hey, if you're going to die, you can go out your way, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. How do you know if you're fat? Well, if they have assessed your own zip code, you might be fat. If you have objects in space circling around you because of your gravitational pull, you might be fat. If your mama's calling you fat, you're definitely fat because mama's usually trying to fatten you up. I mean, unhealthy obesity level. For men, you want to stay at 230 or under. That's kind of the safer spot from a longevity. From there, it's what you want to live with. I mean, from where you want to be. Do you want to be a little bit bigger? Iggy with extra E. Dieting is so much easier than force feeding the bulk all damn day. I don't know, man. I mean, it's all individual. I'm not arguing with you at all. But we live in a world where overconsumption is very, very easy. So I don't find dieting specifically painful from a I'm hungry, hungry, hungry standpoint. I think the more you do it, the more you're just like, I'm tired of doing it, right? I'm tired, right? You know what I'm saying? Big Jimmy. I did not look massive trying take on these insane waves yesterday. Lost some Oakleys and a lot of my ego. But you did live to fight another day, and that's the important thing. Big Sam of Waddington, Ohio. Once you reach a point where dynamic or double progression slows down a lot, what would be another mode of progression? Well, understand that when progression starts to naturally slow, there are going to be no magic progression approaches. So you want to just try different things just to tickle your interest a little bit. You can do threes. You can do last set max reps. You can do pyramid up. You can do pyramid down. You can do rep goal. You can do 2-set rep goal with a third and neutral set. There's a lot of things you can do. It depends on the lift. I didn't like doing dumbbell rows today. So instead I did some cable rows. That's fine. I won't cry too much if you didn't like doing dumbbell rows. Seated cable rows are a good choice. So, Big Justin Jones. Good morning, big hairy ugly dude and T Massive. Thanks for tuning in. Big Lee. Big Steve. Last time I did RDLs, I could do 145 for 4. Ooh, failure in RDL. My lower back's hurting just reading that. However, yesterday I managed 7 because my new girlfriend was in the room. Right. So I would say be careful training to failure. Or be on posterior lifts, leave a couple reps in the tank. Save that energy for your time with your new girlfriend. We're not talking about doing naughty things. We're talking about frolicking in the woods together, holding hands, singing love songs. Save your energy for that. Save your energy for cooking her dinner, and all those kinds of good things. But seriously, be really, really careful about pushing your posterior chain movements that close to the edge. If you want to impress her with your charm, open the door for her, cook her dinner, be a decent human being, and that sort of thing. What are your thoughts on Big Lenny passing? Lenny was 60 or 61, I believe 61. I guess the older you get, the more you realize that carrying around a lot of size is something that you should be afraid of. And when I say a lot of size, I'm not talking about the average natural lifter, with decent muscle mass. I'm talking about the big boys, well over 230. It's always sad to read. I don't know anything about Lenny other than what I've seen on the internet, but that was kind of my first thought. And when it's gone, folks. When it's gone, it's gone. There's no going back. There's no second chance. So you see it over and over again. You just see it over and over again. Big Marvin Thomas. Glad to be a part of the massive team. I'm glad to have you on the team. Steve. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I poured a concrete platform in the backyard and put a rack out there to squat. Now that is initiative. Per code, it's not exactly level. Yeah, you got to be really careful with that, because if it's slightly not level, you can get a little bit of knee and hip shift as you're going down. That can definitely hurt your knees. You want to focus on driving your butt straight down to the ground. If there's any way you can put a deadlift platform or makeshift deadlift platform out there and level it better, that would be your best bet. Big Sam. When to get to the point where you can bench 250 for 4 is adding a rep every 3. Oh yeah, that's if you added a rep every 3 weeks, that's 17 repetitions over the course of a month or a year. That'd be 85 pounds to your bench. That would be amazing. Half of that would be good. Every 8 weeks, every 2 months. Every 2 months would be adding 60 pounds to your bench in a year. Every 2 months. That'd be 6 repetitions times 5. No, that'd be 30 pounds to your bench. That would still be really good progress. I've seen a lot of gains on my flat bench by trying to increase my 10 rep max. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's one of the things that when people come to me, I try to get them to do a little bit more volume, because most people aren't doing as much volume as they should have been on bench. Big Zero. First thing creatine does is increase your glycogen storage. So yeah, jump in water weight. I've noticed, hold on one second. I've noticed that my bicep development more evenly when I started doing more curl. Yep, I'm not surprised there. I'm not surprised with that at all. The more variety you get in exercise, not unusual, but having a little bit of variety is always going to be better. Give me 1 second here, folks. I'm just pulling something up. All right. So I want to pull officially up what the statement was on creatine and glycogen, because we don't really hear it discussed. I'm going to read this to you. Creatine can help increase muscle glycogen storage. While creatine is primarily known for its role in increasing phosphocreatine stores, which support short bursts of energy during high-intensity activities, it also has an indirect effect on glycogen storage. Studies suggest that creatine supplementation can enhance glycogen resynthesis after exercise, particularly when combined with carbohydrates. So the long and short of things is that there are some potential benefit if you are nailing your carbohydrates as well. Big Michael. I gotta say, I often get sore upper chest from doing decline bench and zero upper chest focus lifts. Had the same when I used to do heavy dips. Not unusual. That's why I try to teach everyone, pick a good selection of exercises that works for you. Adjust on personal experience, because that is always the driving thing. We go back to the comment earlier about Mitch Hooper and I do the leg press. That's great. You have to find the exercises that work for you. That is the cornerstone. I love how every time I step into the gym, I always get head turns and stares from most people that are working out, and I know that they know I'm stepping into the gym to get bigger and stronger. People have a good sense for who is lifting seriously, and they will definitely start to watch you. And it can be a good feeling. It can be satisfying in the sense that you know you're on the right track. My wrists are failing before my delts. That's unusual, but that's not abnormal. if you're struggling with your grip, then I would definitely use some kind of wrist wrap or grip support. When I did more overhead press and tricep work for a while, I felt my chest more on the bench. Uh, Interesting. I can't, that's not something I'm going to argue with. That's personal experience, so if you felt it, you felt it. Definitely no downside there. Big John. Replacement for pendley rows. I keep injuring my ankles. I'm interested in that, John, because I've not heard that before. Do you have a video of your pendley rows? I would like to take a look. Your best replacement or swap would be a dumbbell row or a Meadows row where you are braced. Big Ian K from Kaysville, Ohio. Have you ever gotten into a fight? About 2-3 years ago, the World Frisbee Championship, Frisbee football was in Lebanon, Ohio, and they had the after party outside of my building, which I owned a downtown building. And they were all drunk, people from all over the world, young people. Shenanigans were ensuing, and they weren't breaking it up, and things were getting really wild. People were climbing on buildings, having sex in the bushes, and peeing on my car. About 11:30, got a little bit tired of it. And I'd had a couple, 2-3 drinks. It was a Friday night. We were trying to watch a movie. It's just chaos outside. You know when a party is escalating to the point where it should be broken up because things are getting a little bit hairy. Well, I had to take my dogs outside. And I noticed a couple of individuals were kind of semi-trashing the restaurant 2 doors down, just disrespecting the property. So I went over there and I told them, please stop doing that. And there was a scrawny English, Scottish, whatever he was, a Frisbee footballer. Well, you ain't getting down here. Just sass talking. And he jumped down and got into my face. So he was in a white wife beater. I grabbed his t-shirt and I just went like that. And I think I ripped it for the most part off because he had gotten me in my face. I don't like that. You get in my face, we're going to have an issue. So his buddy raced over. I don't know. He was about 185. He looked pretty solid. I didn't think. I just hauled. He charged at me. I just hauled off and popped him straight in the face. He fell. It completely knocked him out. I will tell you that's not an exaggeration. My wife can vouch for you. I think I cracked his teeth, a couple of his teeth. His dude just went, and he was just gone, and everybody kind of stepped back. We just kind of went our own ways. I feel super guilty about it. That's the only fight I've been in. That's the only time I punched anybody. I really don't want to be in that business because I'm sure he had to fly back to Scotland or the UK and probably had to have some form of dental surgery. And I really don't want to be in business of hurting people. But sometimes you don't have a choice. Great channel. Congratulations. Thank you for your support. Big Mike M. Please keep posting your heavy lifts. I found the 315 by 12 video very inspirational. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And I will. As soon as, whenever I can get them, I will. I'm trying to get some deadlift videos. I took one last week, but the footage was a little bit crappy. I did like 500 by 5. Nothing crazy, but I'm still building my deadlift back up. I think it's about 600 right now. I'm being very cautious, so I will. Thank you. What's your thoughts of the gym goer that leaves the weights they have used on the machine? I want to kill him. Not literally. Don't take that the wrong way. in my mind, like, you leave the weights on the machine, we're going to talk. I'm going to go over to you in the gym. I'm going to say, could you put your weights away, pal? You can say what you want about me, but that's the type of guy I am. I get like, I'm in the gym working out with my wife at like LA Fitness or whatever, and some schmuck bag leaves his weights, and then my wife has to go over and do leg press and unload his weight. I'm not going to be happy, and I think it's disrespectful. And if you're one of these guys in a commercial gym, you're a dickhead. It's just as simple as that. If you're going to load the machine, unload the machine. It's as simple as that. And if you don't, somebody has earned the right to tell you're an asshole. Hello, thanks for tuning in. Puerto Rico, let's get the thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Indeed, they do. Look out now, JR. How's it going, JR? Thanks for tuning in. Beautiful. I think they're talking about my dogs. Surely not me. Love the furry kids. We had my dachshunds on earlier. Gunther and Kirby. Great names. Love it. Love the pups. Those are some swole dachshunds. My wife, if you guys missed it, my wife had my dogs on earlier. Possibly this will be the highest viewed live stream. We're doing really crazy with questions today. I appreciate it, guys. Thick Daddy, a client of mine, how's it going? What is the science-based answer as to why one could not do an opposite body part on a specific day? Say a set of deads. There's really none. I always look at things over the course of a weekly structure. I was actually thinking yesterday about trying to create some new splits that I haven't created before. So there are no rules other than it makes sense on any given day and your weekly volume. There's really no science-based. I mean, it really comes down to weekly volume. If you wanted to deadlift and then get on with your chest day, you absolutely could, as long as it worked for you. And then do your back work later in the week. That's absolutely fine. And that set of deads being the second set of deads in the week. The question takes into account proper rest. You can split, always think of things in two ways. Number one, what does my weekly volume look like for a lift, a body part? Is it reasonable? Okay, good. Number two, I'm going to slice this into different ways. Does it work for me on that day? If so, you're fine. Now, I created a program many, many years ago, maybe 2008, called the Drunk Russian, where I was doing a lift for every body part on a given day, and I didn't know what to expect. It worked out really well, and it was okay for me, and I didn't have any issues. Over the years, I've learned from programming there's no right or wrong as long as your weekly volume is okay and it works out for you on a daily basis. A lot of people say foam rolling and stretching can inhibit your gains as it creates another stimulus. There was some minor science that said that when you stretch before you lift, you might be slightly weaker. I don't really think this is a big area of concern, but honestly, if you want to stretch a little bit before you lift, go ahead. It's not going to create any craziness. If you want to foam roll before you lift, as long as you have the energy to lift, you're going to be fine. I don't think the body is that fragile. Just don't overdo it and overbake it. Thank you for the donation to the weekend birthday beer party. How many extra calories do I need to build muscle? Check out on the main page of my YouTube. Just search bulk and you'll get the massive bulking protocol. You want to aim for about a 10-pound gain over 3, 4, 5 months, usually 4 or 5 months. And you start out about where you're at, where you think maintenance level is at. And then you monitor your weight, weigh yourself first thing in the morning as many times as you can stand. And then from there, maybe add in 300 calories, monitor your weight until you feel like you're in a sweet spot. So there's extra calories. It's really going to come down to the individual, but just watch things closely. Are people asking because they want to stay in a weight class and they want to be as strong as possible? No, Joe is a client of mine. He was just asking in general about gaining strength and not muscle. MT, what's your opinion on microloading? I have no issues with it at all. In the long run, it's not going to slow down process of the progressive overload. There's no downside other than the hit out of your wallet. So if you want to, microload, go right ahead. I've done it to minor degrees over the years. Some lifts, it works better on than others. Like if you're doing like a side lateral, microloading would definitely be the way to go. You're going to hit the wall either way. It just might make the transition a little bit smoother. There are a lot of dietitians out there that are overweight. And yeah, I would say body weight aside, I mean this respectfully, but I'm more concerned with their dogma, their beliefs, and that sort of thing. Joshua, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How much does body weight correlate to closing grippers? That's outside of my expertise. I'm going to say mass and strength in the forearms and grip is probably going to be a major player, but I think you can accumulate a lot of that much easier if you're overeating. But I don't know. I really don't have any clue. I've not studied that at all. Outside of my specialty, Martin. I've heard a few people say along the lines of you feel for tomorrow's workout today. What's your point of view on that versus short-term fueling? Well, everything you do has to be structured to facilitate the next step. You want to start the recovery process immediately after lifting because you want to refuel your glycogen. Your body's tired. It needs nutrients. It's like a sponge. So you definitely want to eat after you're lifting within a reasonable amount of time. You don't want to go on your workout depleted of sodium or on carbs. So with that sense, you want to go in and be ready to attack your workout. Everything you do, you have a couple different things that you have to focus on. Number one is getting in your daily intake, right? You want to be able to get in your daily macros and your calories and your protein and all that kind of stuff. So that's the main thing. That's going to be the main driver for your bulk. And all these little mantras and stuff are cutesy wootsy. But the key is to nail your bulking calories. And beyond that, you want to take your nutrition around your workout, before your workout and after your workout, probably the most serious, if that makes sense. So you want to go in your workout feeling okay. And after your workout, it's probably a good time to eat within a couple, 2-3 hours just to get the recovery process started. Neo, a client of mine. Happy birthday, Steve. My coach could beat up your coach. I am your coach. Yeah, it's too much of a complication there. Thank you, Neo. I appreciate that so much, my friend. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this year's Mr. Olympia? I don't know. Let me know who you guys think. I was looking at some of the news briefly yesterday. I have to get caught up, to be honest with you, because October caught up to me so quickly this year. I posted one or two of the bodybuilders the day before or yesterday on Team Massive, but not Nick Walters, that's for sure. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate that. I sincerely do. Are chin-ups good as pull-ups for main movement? They're good movement. We want to always look at a quality selection of exercises. So don't overthink one specific exercise. Always think, about the big picture. Do you like to do them? Good, then do them. Just have a good selection of exercises. You're going to be absolutely fine. If you want to do them first, absolutely. You guys might already know. Just wanted to say rest in peace, Big Lenny. He may not be liked by everyone, but he's definitely part of our community. We are a community of iron, and iron respects iron. And it's always a sad day to see somebody that loves the iron leave this glorious place called the Big Gym of Life. Big Daniel, happy birthday, you handsome son of a bitch. Thank you, Daniel. And that goes, it's not your birthday, but, from one handsome SOB to the other. Daniel's a client of mine. Thank you, sir. RP Strength's obsession with slow reps and pause at the bottom of the lift. Is this method a game changer? No, I don't like slow reps. I like controlled. Control the weight down, not overly slow. Control the weight down, get a slight stretch and drive back. Like a pause is arbitrary. I can pause, okay. If you're doing a seated cable row and you're pausing, I want to give you guys something to think about. Why this can be arbitrary, why it can be taken as bad advice. Not that it is bad advice, but it can be applied in the wrong way. Okay, you're doing a seated cable row and you're holding the bar, you're pausing, but you are holding it back with your fists. You can sit here and hold it with your fists and have your back pretty relaxed. Okay, you can hold the weight right here on a seated cable row. Your back can have a little bit of tension, but it's not your main focus. Your main focus is holding it right steady. So you got a lot of arm tension. Is that working your upper back? Is that adding extra tension, mechanical tension and stretch to your upper back? Not inherently. You understand what I'm saying? If you were to fight it down at the elbow rather than the arm, and you could feel the lat working all the way, and then you get a minor stretch at the bottom, and then you pull back. Control it down, feeling that back, minor stretch, and then pull. We're going to do things a little bit differently in the massive iron world. We're controlling things, but we want to feel the back. And at the bottom, we're not just arbitrarily pausing. We're getting a slight back stretch so we can feel that upper back and lats, and then we're driving back. Does that make sense? So I don't know what he teaches. And I don't know nuance-wise if it's the same thing what I teach. But I hope what I said just makes sense. Andy, how's it going, Andy? Thanks for tuning in. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. This birthday edition of Live is one of the best ever. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. We've had some really good questions, and I hope you guys keep them rolling. I'll stay on as long as you guys are here. MT, happy birthday. What's going on? For someone who is approaching 50, the big 50, but whose main enjoyment is progression, how best to psychologically deal with aging? One of the best ways you can do is progress in a more volume realm. So what I basically did from age 50 to 56 is I never really benched above 225. I did a lot of sets of 10. Now, they were relatively lightweight for me. And for reference, last week I did 255 for 10 sets of 10. But we want to take care of our body, but we still have to fight a little bit because fighting is life, right? So we have to really maybe not train heavy every week, to maybe train a little bit more moderate with volume. And know that at some point you're going to get kicked hard. At some point you won't be able to do what you do today. But each day you just continue to do what you can wisely. And not always your big guns every day. Does that make sense? All right, Ian. I want to emphasize my deltazoids and my trapezoids. To do this, would I add more work for them to any of my your pre-made splits? Well, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is thinking you need to add volume and you're not emphasizing them enough. My splits are going to give you plenty of delt work, my friend. If you're running any of my splits, you have a barbell press, a dumbbell press, and likely a machine press. If you don't have traps, you could add in massive shrugs, or you could add in a second shrug. I don't think you need to add in much more delt work. What you need to do is really nail your bulks and be patient and get strong on those big lifts. That's my best advice for you. Some say, I hear, that this is the greatest live stream in history. Huge numbers, great ratings. I don't know about that, but I do know we're here. Michael, that was perfect. Thanks, Michael. Big Jack Neary. Hey, Steve, what's your thoughts on cardio recommendations? I can't seem to find the goddamn time with lifting and the 150 minutes of cardio. I mean, an hour, 60 minutes a week of extra added movement is going to go a long way. You know, I would downgrade it to 60 and just do what you can do, man. I mean, movement is health, basically. So you want to do what you can do, but you don't want it to be a burden. Do what you can do. Fit in what you can fit in. Go walking. Have extra sex. You know, whatever it is, just don't have it be a burden. What fun is it to move if we don't enjoy it? You don't need crazy amounts of cardio per week. 150 is ridiculous. 60 minutes a week is a good baseline. I've mostly done low bar squats in my lifting career. I think I'm pretty good at them. I recently switched to high bar, lowered the weight, and tried to stay upright. Lower back feels a bit funny. Yeah, it's pretty normal. I mean, high bar and low bar can impact different areas of the lower back depending on technique. A lot of people that come to me with high bar squats tend to have a tendency to have their knees in, and it puts a lot of stress on their hips, and they have a tendency to fold over and get some lower back stress. My biggest advice for you is to get form videos and let me take a look, because I can speculate all day long, but unless I look at a form video. Big Ian, if you could choose any physique, whose would you choose? Probably Tom Platz, just for those big damn wheels. You know what I'm saying? We spoke briefly about bringing in some easy bar preachers. Any setup form tips? The preacher curl station can be tricky. Sometimes I stand up to get a little bit better feel at the bottom, but you want to take it down to the point where it feels natural. You don't want to overextend or feel like you're almost hyperextending those elbows at the bottom. Sometimes you can get a weird feel like that. So take it down to the point it feels comfortable. Almost relax the biceps a little bit and then curl back up. 20 months until the big 4-0. The countdown begins. As you know, I want to make the most transformative period of my life. What's the single biggest piece of advice you can give me to ensure to make it count? You have 20 months. Hit 50 pounds of weight gain. I'm not saying you can't cut during that period of time, but if you get that weight gain in and then you have we have one or two cutting blocks or whatever, that'll be the best advice, because you train good. Your training, Martin's a client of mine. Your training is locked in. Your reporting is solid. We just really need to, you're going to be a shredded monster, mass monster if you just trust the process. Big Johnny Miles. Should protein be the biggest part of our nutrition for maximum fat burn? Fat burn all comes down to your general movement during the day, your general steps, and so you have the calories you're burning, right? And then the calories you're expending. That's going to be your fat burn. To increase that, you need to lower your calories. But if you want to get a little bit more minor thermic effect of food, you should probably bring your protein up to at least 35, maybe 40% of your daily calorie intake. Criskit, how's it going, people? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in. Steve is my coach. Started at 95-pound bench after coming back from torn bicep, getting close to 170 or 8. That's wonderful. I like hearing about those success stories. Jacob, a client of mine, how's it going? Can you swap-a-roo standing overhead press with standing BTM press? Yeah, you can. You can swap, or you can do either one every other week. That would be my opinion on what to do. But yeah, they're equal swaps. When it comes to building the old body, should you always try your best to prioritize stability, or can you get the same results doing harder, less stable? Heavy weight's going to force the body to want to be unstable in every possible way. I don't really understand the nature of the question, so maybe you could be a little bit more specific if you have a moment. How far to bring the bar down a military press? As long as it gets to the chin area, at least you're fine. You don't need to. Sometimes you bring it down too far, your wrists are going to roll forward of your elbows and create unwanted shoulder stress. To accommodate that, you have to lean back more so you can keep your wrists over your elbow. So you can take it down as far as you want, as long as your wrists are staying over your elbows and it feels good for you. My rep speed never slows on dumbbell rows. I just kind of can't get another rep. Yeah, it's okay. Well, you can't get that rep. That's a slowing of speed. That's form failure, right? That's technical failure on the lift. That's the same as if the bar pinned on your chest on a bench press. So you're good on your dumbbell rows, and then, right? That's failure. That's perfectly fine. My RDLs keep getting stronger. Nice. Oh, that's a lot. 6x6. That's amazing. With quality from this week, and I'm not going to be long before I hit. Good, man. You're doing amazing. Just always know that on the RDL, you're going to reach a point where it's going to take more than it gives. So don't be, don't be crazy, about that. Just understand, just progress where you can progress and pull back when you have to. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Does cobra venom increase testosterone levels? I don't know. You perhaps can go wander in the woods and find out. The legend of Mr. D. Going to start Massive 6 on Monday and have been lifting for a month. I was thinking of starting at week 3 or 4. Yeah, that's okay. As long as if you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust. But that's perfectly fine. Sonic, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning in. For warming up before workouts, do I do 2 to 3 sets with lower weight and gradually increase for each muscle group? You don't need to stretch. There's no need to stretch. If you feel like you want to stretch because you're stiff, you can. If you go over to the main page and search warm-ups, there's a video where I walk you through my warm-up protocol. So if you go over there to the main page of YouTube and search warm-up, you'll get my warm-up protocol. If you can't find it, let me know, and I will help you guys find it. But it's a video where I go over a PDF and feature a PDF. Thank you for tuning in. Ice cold. Is stopping just below the knee fine on RDLs? RDLs are not about how far down you go, okay? RDLs are about driving your glutes back to load the hamstrings. When your glutes can no longer go back on an RDL, you're done, and then you have to pop forward. If you are lowering past, like you get your glutes as far back as you can get them, and you continue to lower, you're not doing an RDL anymore. You're just placing stress on the lower back, if that makes sense. Big Michael, I wish you a wonderful, happy birthday, and more importantly, a new year of Epic Gains. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sincerely do. Big Joe B from Beesville, Ohio. Happy birthday weekend, Steve. Wishing you a surprise-filled weekend. Thank you. I appreciate that, Joan. I appreciate you allowing me to help. What type of weight plates would you choose to have at a home gym? Bumpers are a little bit expensive. I have a few. I had to pick up a few during the pandemic because all the iron plates you have. I like iron, but you have to know every iron plate's probably going to be a little bit different weight-wise and diameter-wise, just a slight difference. So make sure you weigh them and measure them. Big Michael. Let's say I went from 220, 200, to 220, 210. Oh, yeah, that's progressive overload. Hard work that is facilitating forward movement, regardless on what's said, is progressive overload. Absolutely. Rico, happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. Thanks. We have about 5 questions left, guys, so get them in now or we will jump off. From February till the end of July, I've mainly done front squats to build up leg strength. I'm now doing mid-bar squats. And let's see. I was just reading forward, and he says, I'm now doing mid-bar squats as my main lift. That's reasonable. I would try to add in a third lift, or a third quad exercise if you could in the mix somewhere, Bulgarians, whatever. So if you're able to, do that, I would do that. I'm not certain if you have something like that or do something like that, you can let me know. Ian, thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. I was asking, is stable machine work overhead better? No. Better is you want to have barbells and dumbbells. You want to have some degree of instability. Don't think about instability. Barbells and dumbbells are amazing for building muscle. You want to have a good selection of exercises for every muscle group. A barbell, a dumbbell, a machine. Instability isn't going to beat up your body. The only thing that's going to beat up your body is reckless training. Ryan, happy birthday, Steve. Your content is always on point. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'm confused about back training. Let me get a drink here. This is the last question, so if you guys have any, get them in now. Some people say that you separate lats and traps, and some people say there's only 26% no crossover. Trap work, personally, when I'm programming, there's going to be some, you're going to work your traps and your rear delts when you're doing your normal back work. But I think you also need to add in traps work above and beyond that. So when you are doing your back work, you want to get in your weekly back work, like I talk about. Your dumbbell rows, your pull-ups, your lat pull-downs, your seated cable rows, your machine rows, whatever you feel is, works for you. And then, get in some trap work after that, whatever you have time for. I'm currently doing Bulgarians, but I do them on the same day that I'm doing RDLs. That's fine. You're getting in a reasonable degree of back work quad work each week. All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate you watching. Just a reminder before we go that I am doing a flash sale. You can get a custom workout for only $39. If you sign up, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, search custom, or look for the services and click custom, or hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, and I will help you find that. What I will do is once you sign up, I send you a list of questions, your equipment, your goals, your preferred splits, injury history, any exercise you don't like to do, and I build you something custom. And I also put together a bulking and cutting protocol for you as well. So that's all part of what you get. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Also, remember at my website, superlivingtoday.com, I have the massive omnibus. There are 6 books out right now, and it is over 2,000 pages of information. If you want the ultimate my life's work, everything I'm lifting, please check out the massive omnibus. It is truly my life's work, and it is huge. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. I sincerely do. I'll see you guys next Friday.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.